So I was casually browsing on Internet Explorer when I realized that Hollow Knight Silksong, the awaited sequel of one of the best games I've ever played, has just released. Thanks to my blazingly fast internet speed, I can play one of the most hyped games when it is at its peak popularity. So it is my pleasure to present Hollow Knight Silksong. So I start my first save fight by watching a cutscene without understanding anything that is happening. Then I fall from a cliff and I can't control the character. I literally spent 3 minutes messing around with it. I literally spent 3 minutes messing around with my controls and the entire first stream adapting to the diagonal program. This means the poor Mustangs are the first victims of my insane tricks. Then I see a suspicious platform and my gamer instincts get rewarded with some great fragments that seem to be useful. It's nice to see that Team Cherry knows his players. Sadly, a flying moss insect ends my impeccable hitless run. It's especially heartbreaking considering how close I was to beating the game without taking damage. Anyways, I continue exploring until I get to this place and I recognize a boss arena when I see one. We get our first boss fight of the game. This one is a complete pushover and I found it to be easier than False Knight and some Hollow Knight bosses. Maybe because I'm more familiar to the controls. After the first boss literally disassembles, I get to bone bottom, only to fall like an idiot. It looks like I got humbled by Team Cherry, but they didn't expect my incredible display of game knowledge when I save and quit back to the chapel. Anyway, in the village I get to know a bunch of silly bugs, but my favorite by far is Flick the Fixer. Absolutely incredible name, this might be the best name in the entire franchise. If that wasn't good enough, we have maybe the best character in all of everything. This thing fills me with joy. I do a brief incursion into the Marrow, but I end up deciding to continue exploring the previous area, where I get to meet even more silly bugs. My favorite one is the one that goes whoa! But more importantly, I get my first important skill. Then I return to Marrow, where one promising path forward was blocked by this oversized stick tip. Unfortunately, my incredible deathless run ends here. This is so tragic considering how close I was to beating the game without dying. In my defense, you cannot tell which directions the bells will bounce to and I didn't have dash, which I think would have made the fight way easier. After the boss fight, I consume a weird shiny substance and transport me into another dimension, where I get the Silk Heart, which gives me 1 silk every 4 hours. Incredible upgrades. After that I return to the village where I grant some wishes like repairing a bridge and picking berries. I find it very funny when I promise something and I immediately grant it. After that I do an incursion to East Marrow where I find my first flea and a weird jail thing. Going all the way to the right leaves me in Deep Docks, where I do some exploration before ending the first stream. In the second stream, I clear this arena and I find another shop, where I get this upgrade that seems to be useful considering the place where I am. I play around with it and I do a brief but fruitful incursion into the Hunter's Marsh, where I finally find Dash. It took me some time to realize I was doing a big loop from Docks into Hunter's Marsh and back into Docks again. With my new upgrade I feel prepared to go into this arena looking room where I find this random character that is blocking my path. I pull some crazy combos and somehow manage to barely first try it. The coward escapes and I can continue my path. I don't know why Team Cherry will put such an irrelevant character blocking my path. I'm sure this is the last time I will see this Lace thing or whatever it's called. Defeating Lace gives me a new entrance to the Hunter's Marsh, yay, and a new way backward to Deep Docks, but a very inconvenient combo of enemies gives me my first environmental death. However, I get 2 very interesting items. One is very useful for attack and another is useful for defense. Some exploration leaves me with chakras, so I buy them up and I find a vault that seems to be a one-way entrance to whatever is below. So I decided to go into yet another incursion in Hunter's Marsh, which wasn't too fruitful. I find another station, so I decide to check my previous areas with my new dash. Above one bottom there was this place I could not access before, where I find whatever this is. I find a door and my first Mars shard, but nothing too interesting. I will reserve point the key for later because 500 rosary seems to be quite a commitment and I still have a lot of places to go. I do a long traversal to the uncharted parts of the map, but most of them remain inaccessible, except this other place which, surprise surprise, is yet another entrance to Hunter's March. I swear I'm doing my best to avoid this entire thing, but it keeps dragging me back. But I decide to go literally anywhere else. And anywhere else I go, I decide to triple check the marrow and remember this place I completely ignored last time. I travel with the fleece and go to this strange place. To the right there's this ominous place I decide to check later, and to the right is— oh my god, what is this? After whatever the hell that was, I explored a little more, but I was too overwhelmed and decided to end my second stream here. I hope you enjoyed this new format I'm trying to do. I think it's definitely a step up from my Hollow Knight series where I just show some clips with some text over it. If you want to know at what phase of my game I am, you can check the live stream or wait 1,000 years for my next video. That's all I have to say for now, so bye and subscribe and do whatever the YouTubers are saying nowadays. I do a brief incursion into the marrow, but I ended up with this side. Then I return tomorrow where on one I play around with it and I do a brief for free.